Hello to everyone this afternoon rather than evening. Usually we go live in the evenings on Cricfit. This is Dial C for Cricfit. Good evening, I'm Mikkhail Vaswani. But today we have a very special guest all the way from New Zealand. And it's so wonderful to be here having him joining us this afternoon. Hello to all and thank you for joining us early today on Cricfit. We have Grant Elliott, former New Zealand all-rounder. Remember the 2015 World Cup semi-finals, New Zealand versus South Africa? And Grant Elliott hits a six of Dale Steyn and gets the victory for New Zealand to take them into their first ever World Cup final. Well, this afternoon, Grant Elliott is joining me for a lovely discussion on cricket and more. And all of you all can ask questions to him. And we can also ask about New Zealand cricket, his experience of playing against India, and much more as well. So today we've had an early start on Cricfit. Usually we have it in the evenings, but because of the time zone difference, राइट नाउ इट इज़ 9 PM. अभी 9 PM है न्यूजीलैंड में और हमारे साथ जुड़ने वाले हैं कुछ ही देर में ग्रांट एलियट, न्यूजीलैंड के खिलाड़ी जो लॉट ऑफ विन्स दे चुके हैं न्यूजीलैंड को. और आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू योर क्वेश्चंस एंड कंपनी एज वेल. समबडी इज आस्किंग मी व्हाई द येलो टी-शर्ट टुडे. Should I say I'm a CSK supporter? No, nothing like that. It's just that we have this t-shirt as well, so I'm wearing it. I have different colors, but CSK, one of my good teams. But Aj, how many of y'all know of Grant Elliott? If you're a true cricket fan, I'm sure you followed New Zealand cricket a lot. Another gentleman from New Zealand cricket joining us today. A very fine personality, and that's why it's very nice, to be having a discussion on cricket with him. और इसलिए मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप सब लोग भी हमारे साथ इस लाइव में जुड़े और उनसे जितने सवाल पूछ सकते हो उतना ही मज़ा आने वाला है न्यूजीलैंड क्रिकेट के बारे में. वो वर्ल्ड कप अगेंस्ट साउथ अफ्रीका जहाँ पे एलियट ने लास्ट ओवर में 4 runs needed in 2 balls and Dale Steyn bowling, Grant Elliott batting, and he hits Dale Steyn for a huge 6 as well to win that match for New Zealand. We have lots to talk about. We'll also ask him about Indian cricket and much more. So be ready with your questions. एक request है, जब भी आपको सवाल पूछना है तो #DialC for Cricfit जरूर डाल दीजिए. ये हमारे शो का नाम है and I'm hoping that we all have a good time this evening. Hi Om, very good to see you as well. I'm seeing quite a few regular faces, consistent faces, quite a few Rahul Dravids joining me, who always join in Cricfit, so it's nice to have you all. Cricfit is there on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We have a website as well where we come out with articles and everything. ठीक है, then let's get going. Let me see if Grant has joined us for this discussion. We'll cut across live to him as well and we'll see. There he is. So I'm just, and I have to give an introduction to him. A very vibrant, enterprising personality and full of life, let me tell you. And there he is, the man that we've all been waiting for. Grant, very good evening and thank you so much for joining in.
Mikkhail, how's it going? You all good?
Absolutely wonderful. I thank you for your time and thank you so much for joining in at such a short notice. Really you're worthy mention of it, trust me.
No, that's all right. I've been banished to the garage, which is actually the gym, as you can see. The kids are asleep, and it's late in the evening here. But I appreciate you accommodating the time so that I can come and speak to you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an introduction. A storyteller. You can call him a tough cookie or a thoughtful person. By the end of it, Grant Elliott has achieved so much more in such a short span, not just with cricket on the field, but cricket off the field as well. A graduation at the age of 36 to taking his team, powering his team into the World Cup final in 2015, or for that matter, holding the highest partnership for the 6th wicket as well with Luke Ronchi. The man has made the right noises in world cricket and now is contributing in more ways than one. And that's why I feel cricket fans world over need to get a perspective from this New Zealander as well, who was South African born but then moved to New Zealand. And that's why I keep telling everybody that if you have to seek inspiration from anyone, Grant, it has to be from you right now, because you have really done the impossible and achieved the impossible in what has been a career that has had a lot of dedication and commitment, Grant.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself like the most talented player in the team or most talented individual, but I actually don't believe in talent, to be honest. I I think that any cricketer you look at has worked hard to get where they want to. I don't think it comes easy for anyone. So I think I had a lot of ups and downs in my career. There's probably 4 times in my career where I would have thought, okay, I'm going to pour some petrol over my kit and that's it. I'm never playing this game again. But what cricket teaches you to do is it teaches you to accept or learn from your failures, because you're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed. And, you look at someone like Sachin Tendulkar, who's regarded as one of the best in India. And, or even Virat Kohli, they're sort of performing 1 in every 3 innings. So they're failing 66% of the time. So, it's a difficult game. And I think, in this day and age, all we see is highlights, and we see, someone's career going like this. But actually, we don't see those hardships that they have in between. And I had a lot. And, I was fortunate to, have success on the big stage when it mattered. But it's a team game. And I think, those performances, those individual performances are not possible without, your teammates playing their part as well and their roles.
Oh, yes. And you were part of a wonderful New Zealand team. Grant, tell me, how do you make this possible? Wherever the New Zealand team goes, they are the most loved side universally. How do you manage to do this?
Well, we'd rather have the gold medal around our neck than be the most loved side. But I think it's just, nice guys, it would be nice for nice guys to come first sometimes. But I think it's the culture here is pretty laid back. I think people are very humble. There is an element of no one getting ahead of their station, and that collaborative approach to teams, which I think is the way to go. So I think, the New Zealand team now has really nailed that aspect of cricket. And we always talk about cricket culture and cricket environments, and it's the same in the workplace. You have to have a good synergy and a good mix of different personalities, but they have to be going in the same direction. So it takes strong leadership, but also it takes individuals who possess certain characteristics. I think,
right.
Selflessness is one of them. You have to do everything for the team. When you're playing for India, when you're playing for New Zealand, you're playing for your country, and you've got to do anything to get that country over the line. And you're playing for in New Zealand's case, the 4 million people that are here. So that's probably one of the overriding characteristics I think that guys possess that create this nice guy mentality, is that they're all pulling together.
Right, Grant. So what we do over here on Dial C for Cricfit is we put a guest in the spot. He's in the hot seat. We ask him some easy questions, some difficult questions. At the same time, we also take questions from fans joining us. Like right now, before I proceed, I'll take a first question from a fan. Rich Greg Perry 29 says, "Hello, Granty. You best cricketer in the world. Make a comeback. Come and finish your career at the Dolphins."
You see, I was worried about that. Some of my friends might be on here asking some scathing questions, and they've already said that they might jump on here and ask me some strange questions. But I know Greg, and I probably won't be coming out of retirement, although this lockdown has given me time to work on my fitness. But no, I won't be coming out of retirement. I'll leave it to the youngsters.
Right. Greg, we'll start off with your career. You played for South Africa at the junior level, and then in 2001, a change of decision. That's because you spent a lot of time with Ken Rutherford, who was then part of your provincial team as well in South Africa, who suggested you move to New Zealand, and then one thing led to another. Was that the best decision you made in your life, that shift from South Africa to New Zealand?
It was more a forced decision, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I had a contract dispute in South Africa, so I couldn't actually go and play professional cricket there. So at the time I was in Holland, and it was with Gauteng Cricket, where eventually they admitted guilt to the whole process, but I was pushed out in a way. So I had to look for cricket somewhere in the world, and fortunately I was playing club cricket in Holland, and I spoke to a couple of Kiwi mates there. And they said, "Oh, come and play at my club." So we went to play at the club, loved it, and then just carried on playing in New Zealand. So yeah, it was sad in a way. I mean, you grow up, you want to be a Protea or a Springbok, or it was changing every sort of couple of years when I was there. But I grew up wanting to play for South Africa and represent South Africa, and then that changed, and I grew to love New Zealand, and now this is my home, and I'll do anything to protect its sports and its image.
Right, some messages coming. Atul Das is saying, "We are sending you love from India, Grant." And then Masad Ahmad is saying, missed you from PSL. So a lot of messages coming in as well from quite a few admirers of yours, Grant. We'll take as many of them. And in the meanwhile, right, Jacob Orum's injury led to you getting a chance in the test side. Jimmy Neesham's injury in 2015 gave you a break in the 2015 World Cup side as well. Uh, would it be fair to say, Grant, that life changed for you after that semi-final victory over South Africa? Or it's still the same?
Yeah, I think because we're in New Zealand, it's still the same. There's no such thing as a celebrity here. Um,
Oh,
it's
that's a
it's
good
pretty
point.
laid back.
Come to
Yeah, I
India.
mean,
India, Grant, you'll be a celebrity.
no, I don't really want that. But like, it was great, like we played, I was fortunate enough to play against Sachin in the one day series when India came out over here in 2000, and I think it was 13, either 11 or 13. And I think it was 11. And I saw Sachin drinking a cup of tea on the side, just outside in a restaurant. And that wouldn't happen in India. He would be swamped. And maybe it was because people were respecting his privacy or they didn't know who he was. I don't know which one it was, because rugby is obviously the sport here. But yeah, it's pretty laid back. So, I mean, my life changed in a way with, I think, I put so much effort into cricket. And I think I got to the stage now where I was like, okay, well, that's great. Like, I'm not going to leave the game with resentment. I'm not going to leave the game with an ill feeling. I feel like the game has given me a lot. And now, if anything, I want to give back to the game. And it was great to finish in a team that possessed all these qualities that I could see in a team, which could provide a blueprint for any team that you're involved in. I mean, everyone was a team player, which was great. And it was nice to almost finish my New Zealand years. I felt like that was probably the final year. I carried on for another year and a half or so, but it's pretty much done after the 15 World Cup.
Right, everybody out here is asking questions about the 2015. We can't help but talk about that moment because more ways than one, Grant Elliott became a household name, not just in New Zealand cricket, but in world cricket as well. That match was watched by everybody, you securing that win in your own country over there. And I have to take a few questions before I go to my set of questions as well. And I'm warning you, a few bouncers are coming your way when I'm asking you my questions, Grant.
Okay.
And you may have hit Dale Steyn for a six, I agree, but this is not good. Okay, Abdul is asking, what was your feeling after you hit that six against South Africa to take New Zealand to the finals of the 2015 World Cup? And Om was asking, what was going through your mind when four was needed of two deliveries?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, there's a story that happened before the semi-final, and that was my sister phoned me up about 8 months prior to it, or 6 months, and she said, listen, I've got this wedding venue, and I was wondering if I should book it. And I said, well, if it's your dream venue, you've got to go for it. And she said, well, it's on the World Cup final. And I said, well, I've been told by the selectors I'm not going to be playing. I'm a cover for any injuries. And then also, New Zealand's never made the final. So I'd say, you're pretty safe with, going for that as a venue. So when that last ball came, I knew where my sister was sitting. One of the things that I always do to relax is like find people in the crowd. And I knew where she was sitting, and I thought, oh, well, if I do this, I'm not going to go to a wedding. Is she ever going to forgive me? And then the other thing was, I was thinking I didn't want to be that person to walk into the bar or a room and people to say, oh, he's the guy that lost us the semi-final. I was 70 odd not out. And, you're in that fight, flight, or freeze moment in your career. And I think because I'd reached the maturity in my career and personal life, I was an older player. I was 36 or 35 or whatever it was. So I had the experience and the maturity to, I guess, use the tools I needed to calm myself and get into that fight mode of, I'm in a corner here. There's only one way to get out, and that's to fight. And you either take an attacking approach or a defensive approach. And I obviously had to take the attacking approach. So it was a great moment, but it was relief. If anything, it was relief. It's strange that, you probably hear that. You think like you'd be ecstatic. But if anything, I think when you do your job, you've got this really confident, relaxed feeling of relief that you've done your job. And you've performed your role for the team. And that's quite a nice feeling. It's one of the most satisfying feelings, I think, that you can get in cricket. And then to see the ecstasy of your teammates as well. I mean, that's great, in the change room afterwards.
We do remember that six, but another very, very defining moment was you going up to Dale Steyn as well and helping him get up after that shot of it. What was that? What was that? Did you have a word with him? What was that moment all about? Because, see, listen, one's moment of euphoria is another's moment of agony or despair. We can look at it that way as well. So you left a lasting impression on each of our minds with that great shot of yours. But that sportsman spirit and sportsmanship that you exhibited over there, you won the match for New Zealand, but you won hearts as well, Grant, with that gesture of yours. Could you give us some more sneak peek into that moment as to what really happened, and did you have a chat with Dale Steyn after that?
I think, in sport, it's just a game. And, we can get carried away with it. It's, once that last ball is hit and the winning runs are hit or, the winning wicket's taken, there's nothing else you can do. And I think, the character that you show afterwards, really, that has a lasting effect to a number of, kids and supporters and fans that are watching the game. And I think I had a lot of perspective during that time where, the sport wasn't something that was the most important thing in life. And I guess I had a bit of empathy towards the South African team because I'd gone through all of those World Cup losses as a youngster, as a teenager growing up. I had seen, the loss of the 92 World Cup, the 99 World Cup with Klusener and Donald. And, it was always like catastrophic with South Africa. And this was just another, tale in their book. So I felt their hurt. And, I just, I had that empathy towards Dale. And once it was done, it's only a game, really. But, I mean, they were great. We shared a drink with them in the change room and utmost respect for all of those players. They're such fantastic players. And they were so unlucky that day. The weather came and ruined things for a couple of overs. And, it was a tough day for them.
Y'all chased down 298 in 43 overs in a semi-final chasing against a South African attack. That's like almost doing the impossible, Grant. I mean, it's a high-pressure game. It's a World Cup semi-final, and 43 overs, 298. I mean, it's never easy. And Corey Anderson and you had a good partnership. I remember he came in very handy as well.
Yeah, no, that partnership was instrumental. But I think Brendan's 50, the quickfire 50, which he did in every game, I think, that sort of set the stage because what that allowed us to do is that allowed Corey and I to almost go to run a ball or even less. And the run rate never blew up to over 8. And I think, at 8 and over, you're comfortable. It's one boundary and a few fours, and, you can comfortably get that. For me, I was always a little bit worried when it blew up to 10 and over and you were close to 15 overs out. That was always a bit of a danger area. So we were always doing it comfortably. And then it got to the stage where you felt, South Africa need wickets here. They're pulling cover in, and then that gave us more opportunities to get boundaries, and then they get a wicket. And it was a great game. It was. And you might not believe me, but I only watched it for the first time in lockdown with my kids recently.
Oh, wow. My God. My God.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Right, Grant, some questions now from my end. So this segment is called Clean and Bold with Cricfit. We are clean, we are bold, and we are asking some very bold questions over here, okay? So you can answer one word or one line. You have not much time to think, okay? Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
The best test batsman at the moment, and why?
Steve Smith, just his record.
All right. Virat Kohli or Kane Williamson, the better captain, the better leader?
I'm going to go for Williamson.
Could you suggest why have you gone with him?
I think it would just be his record, I reckon. I think Kane, across all 3 formats, I'd see him probably being more consistent.
All right. IPL or PSL, which is the better and the bigger league?
I'd have to say IPL. It's more glitz and glamour. I love my PSL, but it's not quite there yet. I think
All right.
It's still, it's good.
One Indian player you have huge admiration for?
Virat Kohli. Yeah, unbelievable. Just the way he looks after himself. He's like the consummate professional. The way he promotes the game and the passion with which he plays, it's unbelievable. He just keeps going day in, day out. I mean, he's amazing.
All right. Who is the Sachin Tendulkar of New Zealand cricket?
Oh, it'd have to be Kane. It has to be.
I thought
Nice.
I thought maybe you would drift towards Brendan McCullum for some time, but then I always thought Kane would be ahead.
No, Brendan doesn't play straight enough. Brendan's square of the wicket. Kane's got that high elbow, he's
Yeah.
very organized. I'd have to say Kane.
All right, which team would you say is the powerhouse in world cricket today, and why?
Oh, I'd have to say it's between India and Australia. It depends where they're playing, though. You play India at home, good luck. You play Australia at home, good luck. Even New Zealand at home, good luck. So I think it's quite good. There's a good power struggle at the moment. Even England are pretty good in their own conditions. So, yeah, consistently, you'd probably have to say Australia over the years,
Right.
just because of their performances.
How good friends are you with Paul Collingwood?
We're actually all right now. We're all right now. We played a World 11, or as Brendan called it, he said it was a a Governor's General 11 or something. We played it was the World 11 that travelled to Pakistan, Lahore. So we chatted about that run out where I fell
He
over,
was
and
he was very apologetic about it after what he did in press conference. He said,
yeah, no, we're all good. He's a great guy, Collie.
"All right, if you were in Cricket Australia, who would you name as the captain of their side?"
Oh, that's a really tough question at the moment. I'd probably still go with Tim Payne at the moment. I would have said George Bailey at one stage, but he's obviously retired. I always thought George Bailey was going to be the one to take the reins. But no, I think they've got a good captain in Tim Payne. I'd still keep him on. He's leading them
Right,
well.
you spoke about satisfaction and relief as a player. Are you satisfied with your international career,
Uh,
Grant? I know it's a difficult question
uh,
to ask because
yeah,
many felt you had lots more to contribute when you announced your retirement.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I don't think as an athlete, I don't think it's healthy to ever be satisfied. I don't think you'll ever finish your career and go, oh, I'm like totally satisfied. I mean, I'm happy with what cricket gave me, and I'll never regret, what happened in my career. But one thing that really does grind me as well is Test cricket. I wish I'd had a little bit more of a go at Test cricket and probably performed there and just shown what I could do at that level. But
Right,
otherwise, I think I finished at the right time.
right. I'm sure you would have loved to have played more than 5 Test matches. Is something I'm sure something that would be. We have Durant 22 joining in, greatest beard I've seen on a sports person.
Well, do you know who he is? He's actually a footballer. I know him. He used to captain the Wellington team now. I know he's gone to Melbourne. And he's an
All right.
Australian who then played soccer for New Zealand, and he knows nothing about cricket. So he must be really bored in lockdown at the moment watching this.
And admiring your beard, let me tell you that.
He's got a
I
good
love
one
the
as
great,
well.
I love the grey streak. He's saying,
He's full of it.
Grant, your best opponent you've played against.
As in the whole team, or just as in a
You can
bowler
choose a
coming
team as
towards me?
well as an individual. You can choose a team as well as an individual.
I think Australia, and I think some of the best balls I've faced have been from Mitchell Starc. Um, yeah, I mean, I would have hated to have faced Murali in the subcontinent. Luckily, I never got to face him, but played with him in Wellington. So I'd have to say Australia and their conditions, they're tough, man. It's tough just facing that pace and that relentless line and length that they bowl.
Right. In the 2015 World Cup, Sahil Mehta from India, Mumbai is asking, was Mitchell Starc's delivery to Brendan McCullum the turning point in that final?
No, I don't think it was. Everyone says that. Now, we were 150 for three after 35 overs. And then Faulkner came on and, yeah, managed to get sort of 4 quick wickets. So I think that was the turning point. So I think we were still looking at about 260, 270 at that stage. And, yeah, that just that tore through us, unfortunately, that spell.
Right. Best New Zealander you've shared the dressing room with, somebody who you feel has been a great influence and on the team as well as on the sport in New Zealand cricket that you shared the dressing room with.
There's a couple. I'd say that, when I was in South Africa, I always looked at Stephen Fleming and I thought he had such a great aura. And then, Daniel Vittori, the fun and just the passion that he brought to the game. And then after that, Brendan, I think, Brendan, the way he brought guys together who were all different characters, I think showed true leadership, but he led through actions, the way he threw himself around the field and the way he batted, it was inspirational.
Right. You have three gentlemen right now I'm giving you. Paul Collingwood, Brad Haddin, and Matthew Wade. You have an option to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with each one of them. You decide with whom would you like to have what, or you can even skip all the three meals.
I'll have breakfast with breakfast, lunch, and dinner with Collie. That is a tough one. No, I'd be happy to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with all of them, all three of them at once. It'll be good.
Why I asked you this question is because you've been into some verbal altercations with Brad Haddin and Matthew Wade in the past. What's it with Australia and New Zealand, and what's it with sledging, and what's it with all the verbal volleys?
Do you know what? I take it as a compliment. When someone starts abusing me on the field, I think, well, why? What's the point? They're obviously trying to get under your skin for some reason. So, yeah, it's just a New Zealand Australian thing. But I think the Australians just play the game in a harder way. It's just the way they're brought up to do it, and it's ingrained. I was used to it though because I grew up in Johannesburg. Now, Johannesburg club cricket was verbal, so from the age of 16, I was getting verbal abuse, quite significant amount of it in Johannesburg League. So yeah, either you can take it or you can't, right?
Right, true or false? Elliott paid for his sister's honeymoon.
Yeah, true.
Wonderful. What a lovely brother are you. We're having a few questions from here as well. Nisham fan page. What is your most favorite innings you've played, Elliott? You have one against Pakistan in the Champions Trophy, if I'm not wrong. That partnership with against Sri Lanka with Luke Ronchi is one you have. The World Cup semi-final, you scored 70 yards. Final as well, you scored 80. Any other innings that you feel you can remember the best?
I reckon there's one record that'll never get broken, and it's I scored 40. I think it was a 41-run partnership with Zulfikar Baba and the PSL, their last wicket partnership in a T20. So 41 runs. I don't know if that'll get beaten in a hurry, but probably if I look at my favorite innings, it was probably MCG against Australia in one of the Chapel Hadley games. I got 70 odd not out and we won that game. The semi-final of the Champions Trophy against Pakistan, and then obviously Ronks's partnership and the semi-final, but I can't think of anything else outside that. Maybe when I was young, under 19, I got a double 100 against England. Under 19, Graham Swan was playing and Rob Key. That kind of like gave me the pedestal to go into first-class cricket and that.
Grant, you've done virtually everything in a first-class game as well. You stood outside the off stump and you were playing shots all over the ground. I don't quite remember the league's name, but I still remember you standing way outside the off stump over there, and the batsman had absolutely no idea what was happening. The bowler.
The McDonald's Super Smash. That was the New Zealand or Burger King Super Smash at the time. So the New Zealand T20 comp. Now, what people don't understand about that is that if I'm batting here, there was a mid-on and a square leg up. So there was only 2 on the leg side and 7 on the off side. So I said, okay, well, if you want to bowl at the stumps, good luck. You've only got 2 men there. So that's why he kept bowling here, because of all the fielders. And I kept trying to hit him that way. And then eventually he went for the stumps and got me out.
That looked very innovative. A question now on Mahendra Singh Dhoni, everybody's asking. Listen, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is next to God. That is Sachin Tendulkar in Indian cricket. And right now there's a lot of debate happening about Dhoni's participation in the T20 World Cup. And should he play, should he not? He's now, the other side of 30s, and many believe he's played his part. Played his part. How would you look at the Dhoni situation right now? What do you have to say about Dhoni playing for India in the coming World Cup?
How old is Dhoni?
How old is Dhoni? If I'm not wrong, he should be around 37, 38. We'll get that quickly on the timelines? I'm sure one of the fans will quickly answer.
Yeah, that's not too old. I mean, that means he's not too old to play in it. I mean, it just depends on his fitness, really. I think, someone like Rishabh Pant, like I look at him and I'm like, wow, left-hander as well. You asked me about my T20 greatest all time. I was thinking of putting him in there because I just love the way he bats, but I don't really know how he looks after himself. Now, I know Dhoni looks after himself. He's like,
Right. Sorry
consummate
to interrupt.
professional.
Sorry to interrupt. He will turn 39 on July 7th. He's 38 right now.
Oof.
Everybody coming out with that. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming out with the age of MS Dhoni and helping us out here.
Yeah,
Thank you,
so
Simon.
that is getting a bit old. I mean, it depends on his fitness. If his fitness is good, his eyes are good, and reflexes are going, then yeah, I'd say you give him, because you can't beat experience in any form of the game.
The Grant, my question is, will a 39-year-old be allowed to play New Zealand cricket as well if he's fit as Dhoni?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think we might be in that position if Ross Taylor decides he wants to play in the next World Cup. He'll be close to 38, 39.
So you feel that Dhoni still has it in him to go and play for India in the coming World Cup?
Yeah, well, if he's fit enough, I'd say 100%. Because when you get down to that, the final 3 overs and you need 30 runs and you're under pressure, I'll give it to the experienced player every time. And I think, if you've got a younger player who hasn't experienced winning like Dhoni does, I mean, he wouldn't even probably, break into a sweat for those moments if it's for a World Cup final. So, yeah, he's got it for me.
Right. Michael is asking your favorite New Zealand captain, Grant.
Oof, tough one. They're all very different, but I'd probably say Brendan. I had more success under Brendan. And I really enjoyed like the culture of the team we had. So I'd go Brendan.
Right. A random student is asking, why does New Zealand have shorter boundaries to play in? That's a good question.
They're only really short at McLean Park and Eden Park. But I mean, obviously, because it's set to be a rugby stadium that then morphed into a cricket stadium. They used to play it diagonally. So I think that's why. And when you look at it, it's actually not a hell of a lot smaller than a lot of boundaries around the world. So I think that there's a stigma attached to that.
Right. Sahil Mehta is asking, who, according to you, out of Dhoni and Mikkhail, is the better wicketkeeper, better ODI batsman, better Test batsman, better T20 batsman? Oh my God, that's a lot of questions in one question.
Yeah. Mikkhail, better Test captain. Mikkhail, when he was in his youth, a better keeper. But Dhoni, I would say, a better finisher than Mikkhail in one-day cricket. Mikkhail obviously went to the top of the order later on. And then T20, I think it's a close one. They're very different, aren't they? One's an opener, one's a finisher.
Right. What are your views on the Indian cricket team right now? And who's your current favorite player in the Indian team, Grant? Who do you think is like, when you watch him bat, you like watching him bat, something about him, something special about him?
Oh, well, obviously Virat. I love watching Virat play. I've loved watching Hardik Pandya, the way his career has sort of flourished, and it would be very interesting to see how he goes in the future, because he's shown so much promise as a powerful player. Dhoni, obviously, I love watching the finishes of the game. Just the calmness that he had and the way that he timed his run towards the end of an innings. And then obviously the hitman Rohit Sharma, watching him bat, he's got so much time. I love watching him bat. And then the youthful ones coming through is Rishabh Pant, as I mentioned. I really like the aggression that he plays. He's sort of one of those new age players, just no fear. Every ball's going for 6. I love it.
Right. For all those right now tuned into Cricfit and watching this video, well, it'll be amazing to even understand and listen to the story of Grant, where he finished his graduation at 36 and now he's the general manager of Cric HQ as well. Grant, if you could just give us an insight into Cric HQ and what is Cric HQ all about and how it is helping younger cricketers and clubs and teams, to improvise their game and move forward as well.
Well, it's been around for a while, and it's the mandated or preferred scoring application. So digital scoring. Obviously, we used to have a scorebook. I don't know when you played, Mikkhail, whether you had the scorebook that just used to get thrown in the bag. So now you get to see leaderboards and statistics and, the highest run scorers, most wickets. And all of those statistics get kept throughout your career. But as we move into 5G and, everyone that's consuming data and content, we've gone into the visual side of things. So we'll live stream games, and when it's indexed and scored with the scoring application, you get to keep those highlights. So all those hat tricks and those big sixes that you've hit in your career, Mikkhail, you can actually keep that in your profile, and you get to keep that forever. And not only that, but everything's live streamed. So the grandparents from overseas can watch kids play, and people from around the world can watch a live streamed game. And what I've seen with the younger generation is we have to involve technology in sports somehow, because they've been brought up with technology. So we need to use technology in a positive way. And if we can get our kids out playing sport, that's going to help their mental and physical well-being. So the more sport they're playing, the better we are going to be as a community. So we need to try and get that technology in there to help them get more engaged with the sport. So I feel like Crick HQ's got the opportunity to transform communities through this technology and encourage kids to play sport.
Great, simplifying sports and making it a lot more easier for viewing as well as understanding and playing. Crick HQ doing a fabulous job, and Grant at the helm of things. I'm sure with all the pressure situations you've handled in cricket, this will be a breeze as well for you, Grant. We have them asking, being a finisher yourself, Grant, as we saw in the 2015 World Cup semis, what advice you would like to share with Rishabh Pant, since he comes in the same batting order of yours, batting position?
Yeah, I think it's just, everyone does it differently. I think, just be yourself, be unique and authentic in the way that you play. Don't try and carbon copy. I'm not going to be like MSD, go out there and smash the ball like he does and play helicopter shots. There's different ways that you can skin it, and you just have to be authentic and find out what your strengths are.
Absolutely. Om is asking, New Zealand cricket has no great off spinners. Last one was Jeetan Patel. Why is that? New Zealand cricket does not produce more off spinners inside.
Very good question. I reckon it's probably because they get smashed in New Zealand because the wickets are quite flat and they seamer friendly. Just not turning wickets. We need to send all of our finger spinners to India and get them to learn on those wickets, and then send them back here. Because I think, even like, Jadeja struggled when he comes here because the ball just doesn't turn. And someone like Dan Vittori, who was tall and he could use, differences in pace and trajectory. So, yeah, that's probably why, I think.
Right, Grant. Just a few more questions before we let you go. And I would also like to ask you about that partnership with Luke Ronchi that you had against Sri Lanka. That must have been one great moment in your career. You guys shared a partnership of 267. Luke Ronchi 99 ball, 170, and then you got as many as 104 runs and 96 balls. You're practically playing golf over there in the middle. You're teeing off at will.
I wasn't. I was just watching Ronchi smash it. He didn't give me the strike in the last 10 overs. He was hitting it to all corners. But yeah, amazing moment, because Ronks and I actually played major association cricket together as well. So, to share a moment like that's pretty special with one of your close teammates. And yeah, it's nice watching, being at the best seat in the house, watching someone smash the ball to all corners. It was awesome. It was a good display from Ronks.
Right. Grant, amid the coronavirus, a lot of debate happening about matches being played in empty stadiums. How do you view the situation? Should cricket happen in empty stadiums? Or you feel that, we can wait and it is best when we have crowds filling in?
Absolutely. We need sport, right? We just have to consume sport in a different way. So maybe there's a way that, broadcasters can get up close and personal with the players. Think of the opportunity for broadcasters when everyone will be watching it back at home. So, that opens up advertisements, potentially more money in the game on that side of things. But it's not nice as a player. You'd prefer to have a crowd, but I think that there's plenty of other opportunities that we can look at. Behind the scenes things, maybe, the camera in the change room, who knows? I just think that there can be more stuff that maybe broadcasters can make it even more engaging for those people sitting back at home.
Well, now the general manager of Crick HQ is talking, I'm sure, not just not just the former cricketer. Well, finally, your T20. If you had to choose your T20 all-time T20 11, could you give us the 11?
Okay, so I wrote it down earlier. I have to think about it now. So I've
I
got
have it with me. You sent it.
basically, yeah, so we've got Chris Gale, and he's bracketed with the hitman, Rohit Sharma. Now, this 11, this T20 11 is basically when they're at the height of their career. So I'm choosing the players when
Peak.
they're at their best, yeah, at their peak. So Gale, Sharma, McCallum, and then I think 3 was Kohli.
That's
4 I
right.
went, which would probably be controversial, this one, is Mike Hussey and Sangakkara, bracketed. Reason why you're probably looking at it is I like to go left-hand, right-hand combination so that you can't put in, when you've got 2 right-handers, a left-arm spinner doesn't come on and take the ball away from both of them. You've always got that option of attacking the bowler. And then 5, I think I went AB de Villiers. So
Right.
if my team has a good start, Hussey and Sanga might go down a bit, and then we'll get de Villiers, Dhoni, Russell, Sunil Nareen, Afridi / Rashid Khan,
Rashid Khan.
and then Bumrah and Malinga.
Malinga. Oh, that's a lovely, very formidable side. No Babar Azam?
No space for Baba at the moment. I mean, he'd have to be bracketed with the likes of Kohli. But I think when I look at my team as well, I like to have mavericks and people who are going to really express themselves, be explosive, but then also have those bankers. So like Hussey and Sangakkara are your bankers. MS Dhoni provides that calm sort of mind, as well as, I guess, leadership that would be a tough one. Probably leader would be McCallum. And then you can't tame the beast of Gale when he was in his prime at the top. No
Right.
Australians in there, though,
No Australia. I was
besides
just
Hussey.
about to come to that. Not even a single Aussie
Hussey.
in the playing 11. Only
No,
a Hussey. Hussey is there, yeah.
yeah.
Would it be difficult to choose a left-arm pacer from the current generation when you look at Trent Bolt or when you look at, say, a Mitchell Stark or Mohammad Amir? You feel all are at par, or you feel Mitchell Stark may slightly be ahead, or Trent Bolt? Who's the best left-arm pacer in current world cricket today? Because you have quite a few quality pacers coming in from there.
I think they're all quite different. I don't think I'd put Mohammad Amir in the class of Bolt or Stark. I think on his day, he obviously has shown Champions Trophy in that, but I don't think he's had the longevity that those two have had in the game. I think Bolt is quite different. Like, he swings the ball late, and probably that 130, 135 to 140, whereas Stark's 140 to 150. But I think Bolt in Test cricket, you can't go past him at the moment at home. His record's unbelievable. He's got that sort of Wasim Akram kind of, swing going around. But I think we'll have to see towards the end of their career. They're both very close, but quite different bowlers, I think.
If not a cricketer, Grant, what would you have been? Nisham fan page is asking.
I'd love to have been a Formula One driver. That would be awesome. What a job that would be. Imagine the parties afterwards. Some good parties.
Oh, I'm sure after parties. Well, at one point, IPL also had some great after parties, Grant, if you are aware of it, a few years back.
I never got picked for the IPL. I wasn't good enough. It's too slow.
But I'm sure you'll fancy your chances as a commentator or a broadcaster going ahead, because they do have a lot of Kiwis and Aussies as well in their combox and in their broadcasting troupe.
Throw my name in the hat. I'll be keen.
100%, I'm sure. You will be a great addition as well. Grant, honestly, it's been wonderful having this chat with you. And honestly, I can only put it this way, that we've always admired your game. We've always admired your commitment, your fighting spirit. And out here as well, everybody whom I've been sending messages right now have been talking about your greatness, your humility, how humble you are as a person, a cricketer on the field and off the field. And many believe that you'll be a great broadcaster as well. And being on Dial C for Cricfit, Cricfit is a nice cricket and fitness page in India. We have our own cricket academy as well, Grant. We have around 100 students out of which 3 are playing professional cricket over here. So when I narrate your experiences to them, when I meet the kids, they take a lot of value out of it, and that's why your presence today on Cricfit has been, I'm immensely grateful for your time and cooperation. Yeah.
No, that's awesome, Mikkhail. I think, it's every cricketer's duty to try and inspire the younger generation and inspire them not just to become a cricketer, but I think whatever their dreams are, I think that you have to pursue that and be passionate about it, as well as work hard. I mean, there's no silver bullet. There's no secret recipe to being great. I think it's just, you work at it and you work passionately at it every day.
Absolutely. Just as I call it quits on the show, a quick question here by Om is asking your childhood idol you grew up idolizing.
It's actually Jacques Kallis. I mean, he's not that much older than me, but yeah, I really loved watching Jacques Kallis play.
Right. Was it Bittersweet Symphony for you because a South African, winning the match for New Zealand against South Africa in the 2015 semi-final? Or was it like, all the way New Zealand, or did you just feel that, okay, I would have been on the other side, never know, at some point in time, right here with the South African side, but today I'm winning it for New Zealand against South Africa?
No, I never thought, either way I'll win here. No, I didn't think like that. No,
nothing like that. I just meant that, nothing like that. I just meant that, did you see yourself with the South African side at some point in time as well when you started off your career?
Yeah, I mean, I played a South African A game against India. Hey, Yuvraj Singh was playing that game. He almost took my head off I bowled the last over to him. But yeah, I obviously grew up thinking I was going to play for the Proteas, and yeah, life changes like things, and I think you've got to adapt. That's another message for all those youngsters, is like, you just got to adapt in your career. You get things thrown at you. You think your career is going in one direction, and suddenly it changes to another direction, and you have to adapt and not get bitter. Don't get bitter, get better.
Get better, absolutely. Great words from Grant. And Grant, on this note, once again, all the way from India and all the way from Cricfit, everybody out here, the entire team and all the fans as well, would like to thank you for your time. We took up your fitness time. I saw you. It's the gym that's next to you over there. We could see all your dumbbells and all of it. Yeah, there it is. Listen, fit is the key. Remember, you can seek inspiration. Wow. I so wish I was something close to you. Would I start doing this? Grant, thank you so much. And we'll keep in touch. And hopefully, if all falls in place, we'll someday bumping into each other as well.
Great, Mikkhail. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks a lot, Grant. Have a lovely day. Good day. Good night.
Cheers, mate. You too. Bye.
All right. That was Grant Elliott joining us on Cricfit today on Dial C for Cricfit. And I would like to thank each one of you all as well for joining us with your questions. Sorry, we can't take all questions each time. It becomes extremely difficult. But all I want to say is that your patience and your cooperation on the show was worthy of all the mention. I'm Mikkhail Vaswani. You can find me also on Instagram with the same name, Mikkhail Vaswani. I hope you enjoyed this show today. We are getting Hanuma Vihari on Monday. Then coming week, we're getting Robin Uttappa on the show. So a lot of people joining us on Dial C for Cricfit. So all I'm trying to say is stick around and join us for all the live sessions and chats. And we'll have a lot of fun asking shows on players and asking questions to players and all of it. I can't be taking any more lives right now. But all I can say is that we are grateful to Grant Elliott to have given us his time, a wonderful character, a wonderful human being, great professional, a team man. And in all of that, he's someone who's always ready to help the youngsters and the younger generation. Everybody to have joined us this afternoon on Cricfit at such a short notice, at a time that's not convenient to most. Everybody likes coming on in the evenings. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to Dial C for Cricfit. We'll see you very soon. From the moment, Mikkhail Vaswani signing off. Goodbye.